Hey guys, the Ramos Online here, and this is one of two battles against a guy called Revan. If you saw his team in team preview in that tiny little fraction of a second, you'd see it's pretty much what I'd call the cookie cutter Pokemon Showdown team, and I think it works in VGC as well. So I lead off with Macy and he leads off with Riolu. Macy, you're meant to bring in this Riolu late game, but against a team like this, I wouldn't have seen her doing much in the late game. So he starts off with the Volt Switch, which surprisingly isn't enough to take me down to my Focus Sash, which is really going to affect the strength of my reversal. It would have been a one-hit KO against this Kangaskhan, I think, but because it wasn't, it survives. I go for the Protect, expecting a Fake Out, a Mega Evolution Fake Out, but he actually goes for the Aerial Ace. So I am forced to go for Copycat this turn to get their Aerial Ace, and it is not going to be enough to take down this Kangaskhan. So Macy did not do much in this battle. As much as I love this Riolu, if you don't play it right, it doesn't really last. So I really shouldn't have opened with her, but, you know, hindsight. So I sent in April. This Kangaskhan is not Mega Evolving, so it's weakened. It's probably not going to want to stay in, or if it does, it's fodder. So I go for the Cotton Guard, and I can set up against this thing really easily. That Aerial Ace is going to tickle. I'm not even sure why he has Aerial Ace and he isn't Mega Evolving. This makes no sense to me. Kangaskhan has never really been a powerful Pokemon before it got its Mega Evolution. It was perhaps the best user of Return. I don't know, I've never really used Kangaskhan before Generation 6. So I go for the Giga Drain to take it out. I get a completely useless critical hit there. That would not have made a difference. That Kangaskhan goes down, so I know he's still got a Mega somewhere packing in there. Maybe he was going to Mega Evolve, but after seeing how much damage I did to it, he decided against it. So I go with the Leech Seed. I know he's going to go for something like Icicle Crash, but it's a bit too late. I now have maximum defense, I think. I can't remember if I used Cotton Guard twice, but I know it's not going to be able to take me out. It's going to do quite a bit of damage. And the recovery I get from Leech Seed is going to be pretty insane because April is holding the big root, as you can see. That is a lot. And I go straight for the Giga Drain here to take this thing out, so I must have used Cotton Guard twice and just been narrating so quickly and so enthusiastically that I completely missed. Going for that second Icicle Crash just to get some damage out on April. It isn't going to do much. See, this is what confused me. He had a very typical cookie cutter team that actually beats my team very easily, yet he didn't use it right. If he switched into Ferrothorn, he could have walled April out entirely. But because he decides to switch into all these other different Pokemon first, I'm able to take down Kangaskhan, I'm able to take down Mamoswine, and I'm able to shut down this Aegislash. Can't use Swords Dance or anything, and I go for another Leech Seed. And it is going to be the same thing with this thing. I'm just going to keep whittling it down. And then he starts to change, and I think he goes for, yes he does, he goes for Sacred Sword. Completely ignoring all the boosts to my defense, but it's not very effective. Yeah, people don't seem to remember that Whimsicott is now part Fairy, so fighting type moves will not deal too much damage. That's why I absolutely love Whimsicott. It is the best prankster in the game. Goes to that Shadow Sneak, getting some sneaky damage onto me, but I went for the Giga Drain. It's not going to be very effective, I'm not going to do too much damage. But because it is in Sword Stance, it is going to take more than it normally would have if it was in Shield Stance. So I'm just slowly whittling down this Aegislash with April. The Taunt wears off, but he goes for the King's Shield. Maybe thinking this would protect against Taunt, but people need to read the thing. People need to read the tooltip, because King's Shield only stops attacks. If it doesn't deal damage, it isn't stopped by King's Shield. Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave, Taunt, Leech Seed, these all go through King's Shield. So he switches out and goes into Dragonite. Come on, really. So he is going to take that Giga Drain very nicely. It's like a fraction, I think it's 1/4 damage. I go for the Taunt. And he goes to Dragon Rush, so I'm guessing he really didn't know that I am part Fairy, even though he saw that I resisted a Sacred Sword. So I'm able to get off the Leech Seed, and he goes for Thunder Punch. So now it's going to be a similar story. I'm going to slowly whittle down this Dragonite into kill range for some of my other Pokemon. All of this could have been stopped if he just switched into his Ferrothorn first. Like, the moment he saw Whimsicott, his answer should have been Ferrothorn. I can't Leech Seed it, and Taunt is only going to make it you want to use Gyro Ball. So he switched into Rotom, who takes a Giga Drain to the face. What was he thinking? He knows all I have is Giga Drain. And he goes for the Pain Split. He knows I have Taunt. He knows I have all these moves. Yet he's going for the obvious plays. I don't get what he's doing. See, this is one of the reasons I hate these cookie cutter teams. People get them thinking it will get them wins, and then they get trampled. So he finally goes into Ferrothorn, and I get off the Giga Drain, which does nothing. Now, I do get a little bit cocky, so I go for the Taunt to try and stop this thing from setting up any hazards. And he goes right for Gyro Ball. So that's going to deal quite a bit of damage, even with that maximum defense. So what I'm trying to do is hope, like, he thinks that much damage isn't enough, because he has been pretty silly up to this point. But he finally seems to have grown a brain in that head cavity, and goes for the second Gyro Ball, so I'm not going to want to stay in. April comes back, and arriba! In comes Laura, my Ludicolo. Ah, yeah, that is not going to be very effective. The reason I brought in Ludicolo was because I have Scald, and that is pretty much the only thing on my team that I'd want to switch into a Gyro Ball. That can also deal some form of damage. It's going to deal next to nothing, but I wasn't worried about the damage I was dealing. I was worried about getting this thing burned, because I knew he couldn't hurt me. All I have to do is burn this thing, and then I can just whittle it down with Scald or Giga Drain, and it will eventually go down and just Synthesis when I need to. So I go for another Scald, not getting the burn. Pretty annoying. The RNG is not with me. He goes for the Leech Seed. I'm not sure why. He should have known I'm part Grass type. See, this is what I mean. He really doesn't seem to know what type my Pokemon are. He saw that Gyro Ball wasn't very effective. He saw me using Scald. He just assumed that I was Water type. No, I'm Water Grass. Gotta learn the types, man. Gotta learn the types. So he's not going to do too much damage with Gyro Ball. I'm going to be restoring about half the damage, so it's practically doing nothing to me. And I have Synthesis and Giga Drain. Giga Drain would probably let me heal back the last bit of damage that leftovers isn't healing back. But I'm just trying to get that burn on this thing. He really is being stubborn. He doesn't want anything to switch into that Scald, because if it does, then it's going to get burned, or there's a chance it'll get burned. He finally decides to switch the Ferrothorn out, goes into Dragonite, and that thing is going to take a Scald to the face, but RNG gods do not favour me. I still haven't got that burn. Really annoying. He is going to go for the Dragon Dance, which is where he has screwed himself over. So that Dragon Dance basically gives me another free turn of damage and Scald, and finally the gods smile upon me and I get that burn I have been waiting for so long. That Dragonite is not useless. I made the mistake of thinking it wouldn't be able to KO me. If I suspected that it would be able to kill me, then I would have switched into April here, and it would have tanked whatever this thing had, because she is a physical wall. But I play cocky. I go for the Leech Seed. I'm playing it really cocky. I'm going to heal back quite a bit. I'm going to end up being at full HP on this turn. Pretty nice, pretty handy. But that Dragonite is now sitting at +0 attack, so it is now nullified that burn. I really should have gone for an attack rather than Leech Seed, and that would have finished it off, but I went for Leech Seed. It goes for Outrage. This is why I should have switched into April, who would have walled that Outrage, and the Dragonite would have killed itself with the burn. But it does take itself down with Life Orb, so not all is lost. Laura might be down, but so is that Dragonite. So he goes in with Aegislash, and I go in with Bella, my Nidoqueen. Aegislash will not outspeed unless it goes for Shadow Sneak, which will not deal much damage to Bella. She is naturally a bulky Pokemon. So that Shadow Sneak, not going to deal too much damage, not too worried about it at all, and my Earth Power is going to take it down, and down goes the Aegislash. I'm not even sure what item it was holding. It might have been holding a weakness policy, but that isn't going to trigger because it got KO'd. In comes Rodom, and I am just going to finish off with Thunderbolt, which is going to deal enough damage. I could have gone for the safe Sludge Wave, but I wasn't sure, you know, I can't remember what else he had. Yeah, as a last Pokemon, we had Ferrothorn, and if you switch into Ferrothorn, Sludge Wave would have done nothing. I go for the Earth Power here, and Ferrothorn, not quite weak enough to be taken down, but Power Whip misses Bella. Not that it would have done too much damage, and I get off the Earth Power, which finishes the battle. Really fun battle, and he re-challenged me immediately after. Like, there was no gap between him, you know, that end of the battle, and then we left, and then he instantly re-challenged me with a new team. I'm guessing one was his battle box, one was his party. That video will be coming up later on today. So if you like what you saw, remember to like, favourite, and subscribe. Throw in an extra like if you somehow can for Shiny Riolu. Lucario, too mainstream. Riolu, that's where the power's at. So thank you for watching.